Welcome friends to our YouTube channel Learning for Knowledge. Today we will discuss another important topic related with reverse osmosis system, which is the normalization of reverse osmosis data. The normalization is very important when we have a different variable. One parameter affects the performance of the other parameter, then we are required to normalize the data. In this video we will discuss or describe what is normalization of data, and in case of reverse osmosis which three important parameters we must be normalized so we can assess the performance of reverse osmosis, and if there is any problem arising in the operation or during the operation, we can easily, or you can say easily, determine the problem and we can resolve well before there is a big thing happen in the operation of reverse osmosis. First of all, I will explain why we need to normalize the data. The normalization of data is important because we want to compare the membrane performance regardless of changes in operating conditions, because during the operation different conditions like temperature, flow and other things are varying. So we want to compare actually that the performance of membrane at any time regardless of their changing conditions. Secondly, to decide if the system performance is stable or developing problems. We cannot understand or describe this thing if we are unable to normalize the data. So we require normalization of the data. Thirdly, this will help troubleshoot any potential problem before they become serious. And fourth one, which is also an important, the normalized data will measure the direct condition of the reverse osmosis membrane and show the true performance and health of an RO membrane. So in other words, data that is not normalized can be misleading, as there are many variables that can cause changes that may appear to be problems when in fact they are not. This is not only in the case of reverse osmosis but other processes which have different variables and the process is affected by different parameters. For actual evaluation of the performance, we need normalization of the data. Data normalization is a technique to convert the real performance of a system into a form which can be compared to a given reference performance, which may be the design performance by the designer, or it will be measured before the startup or initial performance. So for example, if we are changing the reverse osmosis membrane, we will write down the data of that membrane at the beginning and then we will normalize the data. So what is important, data normalization helps to understand the performance of membrane in reverse osmosis system. So the following, basically when we are operating the reverse osmosis, we normally collect the following data regarding the RO membrane and RO reverse osmosis operation: feed temperature, permeate flow, concentrate flow, feed pressure, concentrate pressure, permeate pressure, feed and permeate conductivity. These data we normally gather and then write down these data with time to time and then analyze. So based on these data, we are basically normalize the different parameters in the reverse osmosis membrane. So the performance of reverse osmosis system is normally affected by these four important aspects. Number one, changes in the feed water TDS, which is basically the quality of the feed water is basically affect the reverse osmosis performance. Then feed pressure, then temperature of the feed water and the recovery ratio. All these four parameters are very important in the evaluation of reverse osmosis membrane performance. So data interpretation, if we will discuss this topic, data interpretation, first of all we should think that what an operator is required. The RO operator is basically concerned about the quality and quantity of permeate water, that is product water, and these two factors, that is quality and quantity, can be influenced by, as I described on the last slide, again repeating this, the change in feed water quality, feed pressure, temperature and recovery ratio. Normally there is a rule of thumb for a permeate flow change that if 1.5% flow rate change per degree Fahrenheit, then what is basically this is the thing, that the permeate flow normally changes 1.5% per degree Fahrenheit change in temperature. For example, if a reverse osmosis is producing 50 gallon per minute of permeate at a temperature of 60 Fahrenheit, and later if the temperature change 5 degree Fahrenheit, then the production of the reverse osmosis permeate water becomes approximately 46 gallon per minute. So by changing the feed temperature, that is if we drop the temperature, then its production reduces, and if 5 degree temperature increases, then its production increase from 50 to 54. So this is basically example and rule of thumb. In generally we use this thing. A difference between the normalized data and the initial or design performance basically indicate that there is some problems in the system. When we record initial or design data and after normalization of these data, we may, you can say, if there are big change or change is going on, then there is some problem. There are some problems in the reverse osmosis system or its membrane problem. For example, there may be a membrane fouling or scaling or membrane chemical damage. This may be due to excessive exposure to chlorine or extreme pH, or mechanical failure, or hydraulic plugging, that is the presence of foulants or scale stuck to the flow of channel, as we already described in the previous videos in the where we discuss the membrane types and its structure. Now by collecting the data, what we want to do, first of all, what type of data we need? Just we need operating data first of all, then we will normalize the data, and then we trend the data and comparing the baseline, that is the values which are at the startup of the reverse osmosis and after some time, or after, you can say, when we clean the or replace the membrane. This is our baseline, and we will compare after certain period of time these values with the normalized data, not straight away raw data. So with the help of these working, one can proactively address any problems before irreversible damage to the RO membrane occur. Otherwise we will face a severe problem if we are not going to normalize the data. Normally there are three important parameters which are normalized in the reverse osmosis operation to monitor and trend the data. First of all, very important is the normalized permeate flow, which is normally abbreviated as NPF. Second, normalized salt rejection, which is NSR, and third one is normalized pressure differential, which is called NPD. These three parameters are very important. Now I will describe this one by one. First of all, normalized permeate flow, which is normally, as I told, abbreviated NPF, is basically the flow rate, which is the most important parameter for an RO system. NPF basically measures the amount of permeate water that the RO is producing and can be used to monitor the following problems. The change in permeate flow basically due to the following reasons. Number one, the extent of fouling and scale formation on the membrane surface. This will affect the normalized permeate flow. Or membrane compaction, causing a decrease in the flow rate, of course, because there is a small size, or it will reduce the holes in the membrane. It will reduce the passage of the permeate. Third one, the integrity of the membrane system, such as mechanical leaks in the system. Or fourth one is the extent of membrane deterioration causing an increase in the flow rate. So these are few aspects which are related with the NPF. So generally, if NPF drops 10 to 15% below the baseline value, then this indicates falling or scaling of the reverse osmosis membrane, and reverse osmosis membrane should be cleaned. Similarly, if NPF increases, normalized permeate flow rate increases, then what this means? This means that there is a damage to the reverse osmosis membrane. This damage can be caused by a chemical attack from an oxidizer like chlorine, or any mechanical issue which may lead to a failure of some O-ring on the membrane. So these are some examples. You can say by increasing or decreasing the NPF, there are some problem. This is a journal diagram which indicates the center line. Basically this is showing that no net change. This plot is operating time and normalized product flow, that is permeate flow. So if this is increasing, this means there is some degradation in the membrane. If there is no net change, it means it is behaving excellent. And if there is a fall, it is decreasing, this product flow is decreasing, this means falling or scaling in the membrane. So this is the generalized trend related with the NPF. Now this is I will not take too much time, but this is the way of calculating the NPF. NPF basically is the permeate flow which is used, and we are reading from the instrumentation. Then we use a baseline at a normalized differential pressure, and it is divided by average net. A stands for average, and this is net differential pressure, multiplied by baseline, which is TCF, temperature correction factor, because flow, as I already told you, that temperature affects the flow of the permeate. So baseline TCF value divided by temperature correction factor at any time later on from the beginning. So these are the different formulas you can use to calculate the NPF. Very simple, like feed, TDS, or concentration factor, and other things which are used in the calculation of normalization of the data. After this, the next term is the normalized salt rejection. So you already know the salt rejection. Salt rejection, I again repeat, is normally used to monitor the performance of an RO system, and you know that if salt rejection capacity is very good, it normally achieves the value of 97 to 99% of rejection. But if it's going down, then this means RO rejection if dropped, then this means membrane is not properly working. There is some problem in the process. So NSR, normalized salt rejection, basically indicates how well the RO membrane is rejecting the salts, and therefore is related to permeate water quality. Over normal operation of an RO membrane, basically NSR steadily decline. Of course, with the passage of time, its performance is going down, but there is no sudden change appeared. A sudden decrease in NSR indicate falling, or at reaching at certain point, a decrease in NSR indicate falling, scaling, degradation of the RO membrane. Anything is going to be happen. A proper cleaning basically required when we reach a certain decreasing value of salt rejection, and this is not the usual salt rejection, but it must be normalized salt rejection which we will need to calculate for this system. Basically there are two methods used to calculate the salt rejection. Very simple. The first method, as shown in this following equation, that the RO feed water TDS of the membrane surface. So in this formula we use the same value of TDS which is in the surface of the surface of the membrane and in the feed water. So this method will give a lower salt rejection than the actual, because there is a difference between the TDS at the surface of the membrane and at the in the inlet of the membrane, where it is feed water. So this method will give a lower salt rejection than the actual individual element salt rejection. The extent of the variation will depend on the recovery of the RO system. Very simple formula: salt rejection in percent is equal to feed TDS minus permeate TDS divided by feed TDS into 100. This is first method which is used in the calculation of NSR. In the second method, normalized salt rejection, average of the feed and concentrate TDS to approximate the average TDS within the RO system is taken. So we want a close reading of the TDS at the surface of membrane, which may be closer to the real TDS at the membrane surface. So this method basically will normalize for changes in salt rejection due to changes in the RO permeate recovery. So average feed TDS is calculated with this formula by feed TDS plus concentrate TDS divided by 2, and then we calculate the salt rejection average feed TDS, which is from here, and then permeate TDS and divided by average feed TDS into 100. So NSR is 100 minus salt passage divided into permeate flow into baseline permeate flow into TCF, which is temperature correction factor, into 100. In this way we will calculate NSR, normalized salt rejection in reverse osmosis. This is the second parameter, and then third parameter is normalized pressure differential, NPD, very famous. What is differential pressure? It is basically the difference between the feed pressure and the concentrate pressure exiting at the end of the element. It is a measure of the pressure drop as the feed water passes through a flow channel of all the elements in the systems. So this is basically the delta P. The NPD tells us how clean the feed water spacer is on the membrane, the spacer which are present in complete assembly of this membrane. These spacers are only around 30 thousandths of an inch thick and are therefore extremely susceptible to plugging. A plugging occurs the resistance to flow, which ultimately leads to the increase in pressure drop. So normalized pressure differential, or NPD, has a severe effect on the performance. So these are some characteristic or some important points related with the NDP. Normalized differential pressure will begin to increase over time due to falling or scaling. This is normal. RO membrane should be cleaned when the NDP increases by 15% to 25% above the baseline value. NDP and NPF, normalized differential pressure and normalized permeate flow, should be monitored together to determine when the RO membranes should be cleaned. It's a very important point. Often the NPF will decrease and NDP will remain unchanged. This is simply because the following scaling issues have yet to plug the feed water spacer, and in time the NDP will increase in conjunction with the drop in normalized permeate flow. So these are some characteristics which I summarized here. And another important point, when NPD decreases, what this means? It is usually due to faulty instrumentation or mistakes made during the data collection, because after or during the operation there is some particles, impurities are present or sit in the surface of the membrane. So delta P, differential pressure, normally increase. There is no chance, if we did not clean the membrane, we did not do anything with membrane, then this normally not happen, that NPD decreases. Or an increase in NPD in the front stage of a reverse osmosis indicates falling issues, and an increase in the NPD in second stage indicates scaling issue. And NPD, normalized pressure differential, can be measured with this formula: the pressure drop which is come from the instrumentation multiplied by baseline average flow and divided by average flow. Using this formula, we can calculate our third important parameter, which is NPT. So after this, we are just showing you a case study with the help of these. There are two graphs which are, why not simply monitor actual feed? The question is, why not simply monitor actual feed, that is not actual data of pressure, permeate flow or salt rejection? Why? Now this graph shows that we have product flow in GPM, that is permeate flow, normal values we are using, and then we are plotting this with respect to time. You can say that sometime it go up, sometime it go down, and depends on other parameter, maybe here temperature changes or we are changing the pressure. So we don't, there is no such you can say thing or any values which shows that what is going to happen with the reverse osmosis system or the membrane. This data does not describe, because you can see it is operating in a very narrow range. It seems to be stable, but if we look in the second graph, the same plant, same data, same membrane. Now these square boxes shows raw data, these continuous line shows the normalized data. You can see that here the plant at the start of the point there is some changes, there is no big change in the raw data, but if we look in this continuous line, that there is a big changes occurring during the operation of this membrane. Here it changes, product flow reduce, then increase, reduce, and when there is a 15 to 25% change in the permeate flow, then it requires cleaning. So this star shows that at these points we need to clean the membrane. So this graph shows the importance of normalized data. Raw data is not telling anything about the aspect or the performance of the membrane, because operator sometime adjust or increase the pressure, it will increase the flow, or sometime temperature changes, sometime feed quality change, and operator cannot understand the situation or position of the membrane. But normalization of the data is very important and tells the real picture of the reverse osmosis. So this is basically normalization, not only in reverse osmosis but other processes where there are different variables affecting each other. We need the normalization of data, and it is very important aspect of the reverse osmosis performance. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you can understand the importance of normalization of data in reverse osmosis system, and with the help of using these normalization of data, you can just evaluate the performance of the reverse osmosis membrane. And one important thing, that different manufacturer of the reverse osmosis normally provide a software for the normalization of data, so you can easily use that, or you can make your own Excel sheet for the recording of data, and then you can normalize the data. Thank you very much, and if you still not subscribe our channel, please subscribe it. Thank you very much.